Hey everybody, what's going on? It is Tim here at Doc's Autos again, and thank you for checking us out. Today is the second installation of our 1972 Dodge Challenger rebuild. If you want to check out the introduction, go ahead and click that link up here, and you'll see all about how this project came about. Now, today we are starting off with a little more fun stuff, sort of like Christmas in the spring here. I've got a bunch of boxes that showed up while we were on vacation, and the first here, and probably the most important, is a box we got from Jegs. Now, we are thinking our sort of big root issue here of the vehicle not running well is going to be fuel and spark. So went ahead and actually Darren went ahead and ordered up a new Holley carb. I believe this is a 750 CFM. Let's see. Yep, there we go. The 7160, the 760 CFM polished carb with the dual fuel feed on it. So we got another, we got a Y dual line adapter here from Jegs as well. They also packaged up and sent us a box of spark plug wires. They're Ultra Blues. Let me clarify, we paid for them. They weren't sponsored, but they did put them in a box and ship them to us. So they've kind of made this possible. Anyways, we have our carb here, and let's see if we can go ahead and dig that out real quick. Alrighty, so what we've got is the 750 CFM, like I said, carburetor here. We got the electric choke. The carburetor on there right now is manual choke, was not even hooked up. And with any luck, the linkage for this one will connect a little better than the zip tie currently used on the existing carburetor. So we are hoping that putting on a new carburetor, going through, eventually getting a new fuel tank on here, but for now we're just going to keep going with the water bottle in the corner until we can actually get this thing started. Hopefully adding the new carburetor here is going to be a big step to getting us running and idling and possibly moving out of the shop under its own power. That would be awesome. But, you know, even if we don't right now, we're trying to make it a little more homely down here. We've got our rack full of camera stuff, network, computer, all that jazz, a TV for watching more good YouTube stuff, a camp chair, and a Jegs box full of empty Diet Coke cans. Or it will be anyways. Otherwise, we also picked up a new battery for this thing today. Got a 950, 935 cranking amp battery, 800 cold crank, big old Duracell. And we'll throw that in here, should be the right size. And that should also be a bonus to help crank this big 440 over, what is it, 7.2 liters? Yeah, the 10-year-old plus 800 amp battery may not do it. So we will we'll go ahead and throw that new battery in here, and we are going to wander upstairs to the garage because there's another pile of boxes up there. We've got some more, I think, ignition stuff coming in, and there's a big mystery box up there that I'm not quite sure what it is. So we're going to go check that out right now. Alrighty, we're up here in the garage. We've got some more boxes from Rock Auto, Year One, and something else from Amazon. I know what most of these are, not quite sure what the big one is. So these are going to be more goodies here for the Challenger. We've got a new cap in here. Darren said he was going to order one of those. He forgot originally. So there we go. Simple cap, rotor, whoop-de-doo. Nothing too big there, but definitely a important thing to have, as long as we're redoing a lot of the other parts of the insides. Oh, check that out. Yeah, rebuilt Triumph with Rock Auto parts. It's almost like a foreshadowing to what's coming next, or soon anyways. So that's pretty cool. Keep that around. We've got more Rock Auto stuff. Should be a coil. Not sure what else. All right, we got our coil. Standard coil. This is kind of Christmas for me. I know stuff's coming, but I'm not quite sure what it is because I didn't order it. All right, standard coil. Again, the other one that's on there is at least 20 years old. Darren can't vouch for it, so as long as you're redoing everything else electrically, we're gonna just do this. Some new NGK V-Power plugs. So we'll go ahead and replace those. And what's our last item here? Resistor. All right. Cool, so we got plenty of parts now. So between the plugs, the wires, the resistor, the coil, the cap, the rotor, and the new carburetor, that's gonna be, hopefully, end game for getting everything up and running. What's our decal or our magnet from this box? Oh, Jake's old Ford, here you go. Another nice project from Rock Auto. This tube here, I do know what it is because I ordered it. This is going to be the transmission dipstick that I ordered from year one a couple weeks ago. Have at you, or something. So yep, the car right now does not have a dipstick on it for the transmission, so I figured it'd be good to get one of those, and also so we know how much fluid is in it. It was disconnected when we brought it down here, and I put in a little bit of fluid since we've got the radiator hooked back up, and turned the key, of course, a couple times, had it running for, I don't know, probably 10-15 seconds. Did not have anything pouring out of the radiator for transmission fluid leaking, so that's great. Leaking from somewhere else, I think the overflow or the fill. Because why? I didn't have a dipstick to test it. But hopefully now that it's run a little bit, we've run some of that excess fluid into the end of the other lines and cooler. And that is all going to be fine now, but at least we can check it. And the last box here is from Amazon. I'm not sure what this is. Okay. It is a gift. Okay, it is a holy crap. It is a Autel MaxiSys 906 BT. Holy Oop. I did not order this. It is a gift. I'm going to come back to this because I need to figure out where it came from. So this is definitely sort of like Christmas morning for me. Yeah, holy crap. Welder and an Autel. Welcome back. All right, folks, we are back, and I've been digging around for a few days, and I can't figure out who sent that Autel MaxiSys. So, I've checked with my couple of suspects I thought might have, and nobody's fessed up to it. So I'm just going to give a humble thank you to whoever sent that to me. Very much appreciated, very unexpected, and I can't thank whoever it was enough. So, if I ever do find out, great, that's great. Otherwise, just again, a very humble thank you to whoever did send that. But we're going to get back to cranking away on the Challenger here. We've got a table full of parts here to go through and a nice shadow. Hi. Again, we're in the shop, so our lighting is only that glaring sun right now. We could use about 4 more of those in here. Later time, it'll come, right? So I've got that light, natural cloudy light, and my own light, right? Okay, enough of that. So we've got the Challenger, we've got the plate of parts over there, pile of parts, and we're gonna crank through new fuel filter, coil, carb, that thingamajigger, plugs, cap, wires, rotor, and a battery. So hopefully between adding those things in, this thing will start. I did run up and worked with Gary up at the local O'Reilly, and we got our match for the paint. We just went with the F5J paint code, which would have been for the green for the 1970 year Challenger. The current Sublime green is more of a metallic, so we're going to try and match what's in here right now. Still not sure if Darren wants to pull out the engine or not. I'm kind of leaning to doing it just so we can clean up in here. You can see, you know, there is some drips and debris and stuff. Plus, you know, the engine's a little on the dirty side. So it'd be nice if we could get that cleaned up as long as we're repainting everything else. And just, you know, have everything nice and bright and shiny clean. So for now, let's just start going through our pile of parts, and let's just start with our, whatchamacallit here, the little resistor, and we'll chuck him in and keep going from there. All right, I'm gonna go ahead real quick and all right, we're gonna go ahead real quick and get this swapped out. And you know, a lot of this wiring looks pretty sketch. So a lot of this is gonna get replaced. That's on the agenda as well. But again, we just wanna make sure we can get this thing running and started before we get too crazy on the other stuff. So we'll go ahead and get this thing swapped out here quick, 7/16, easy as pie. All right, that's easy as pie. Not sure what this wire goes to, so hey, I guess we'll find out eventually. Loose bolt hiding down here. All sorts of fun and exciting things. All right, let's take a look at this coil next. I know this wire was broken when we got it. Everything just looks pretty rusty, crusty, so we're gonna go ahead and just get this whole thing cleaned up. All right, this is all corroded and icky, and yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and clean all this up. In fact, I might put some new ends on here too, just because. Alrighty, well, we've got our coil replaced here. Just gonna go ahead and tighten these up. And again, we are replacing the wiring harness here, so these nice little crimp connectors will end up going away. It's only temporary, so don't get your panties in a bunch. All right, go ahead and stick him back on here just so we don't lose track of where everything goes. Maybe. Neat. There we go. All right. Next, we are going to, let's get this old fuel stuff out of here because that's going to get replaced. And I'm thinking there's the Y pipe in here for the fuel. That may be in the way of the coil here, so we may have to do some maneuvering of stuff, but we'll figure that out. So let's go ahead and get this fuel stuff out of here. Alrighty. Got that. I'm going to go down to this filter here since it's getting replaced. All right, that's out of the way and had brown gunk. All right, here's our fuel line. Let's go ahead and grab our new filter. All right, we've got just a simple Mr. Gasket oil or fuel filter here. You know, we don't know if we're gonna end up throwing on a Sniper EFI system yet or whatever, but I wanna have some filter between the fuel, which is currently over here in a water bottle, into the new carburetor. So leave him here. And what shall we tackle next? I know everybody wants to see that new carb go on there, but I'm not gonna do that quite yet. Actually, I think what I wanna do is take and get this area kind of cleaned up and degreased and degunked, so when I do take off the old carburetor, put the new one on, we're not gonna be dumping gunk down the engine. So let me find some stuff and I'll get this cleaned up. All right, so what we're gonna do is take our good old Super Clean here and spray it around the top here. And then I've got my little Tornado, wherever that thing is, down here at the leaky air fitting. And we're gonna blast that around and then hit it with some air and see what we come up with. Alrighty, well, not perfect, but you know, it's gonna be a whole lot better. So I think next I wanna go ahead and replace the cap and rotor. Now we should be pretty much set at our default timing of 10 degrees before top dead center. So we're not gonna mess with that right now, but we'll just get this cap and rotor replaced. All right, I've got a little marking here for depending on what direction you rotate, where you want that number one position to be. So we are all set. Just gonna go ahead and transfer plug for plug so we know where things go. All right, new cap and rotor are on there. So now our next thing to do is I'm gonna go ahead and swap out the plugs, or plug wires. So we've got our box of wires over here, and let's go over to the table. The thing about these wires is that one end has your bend on it, and the other end is straight. And for most cases, that's going to be just fine, except Darren thought he'd be smart and put some different headers on here. And a lot of them don't leave room for the plug wires, especially right under here. So, all All right, folks, that didn't go anywhere near as planned. This thing is just a pain in the royal you-know-what to get with and get anything done on. These headers are in my way for everything. The plug wires we got were not the right ones, so I have to get those swapped out, and I'm probably going to find a DIY kit because everything I'm finding with straight boots does not fit with the headers, and the kit that we had, the wires are way too long for everything in here, and they were the wrong style, and actually one of them broke. So I doubt this is going to work for us today, and I think for now our next step is going to be putting on the new carburetor. But I've spent 2.5 hours screwing around with spark plugs, and I'm kind of ticked off and annoyed. So I might just take a few minutes and come back and then work on Mr. Carburetor. Quite frustrating. Gotta love cars. Alrighty, we are back and we've run into a few small snags. Nothing huge, just a little bit of a setback, which we can just wait a couple of days for new parts to show up. First, the plug wires. This one broke. The set that we had to replace these with had the HEI plug on the end of it, which will not work for here, as well as the spark plug end. The boot was the long versus the right angle, and we did not have clearance, with our frame for those ends, nor for some of the headers do we have room for this straight boot. So I got a new set of cables with the right ends on them, so we'll go ahead and build those out here. The bigger issue was with the new carburetor, it has a dual fuel inlet, and where this would actually sit runs smack dab into the distributor. So we have ordered a new one from Jegs, which should actually stop right here. And then we have a 90-degree bend on it, so we can come right off of here, not interfere with the coil or the distributor, and we'll just run our fuel line up and tap it in right here. So those parts are going to be here in a couple of days. So for now, we'll work on getting our new plug wires made and installed, and get our new carburetor fit on top of the engine here. So let's get to working on that. One other point to note with this fitting for the dual inlet is these are actually metric. Sorry, but if all possible, I'm gonna have American stuff on this car. You don't put metric on a Mopar, come on. That's gotta be some meme somewhere. All right, so what we've got here is these Excel wire kit. These do have the 90-degree boot on them, so let's take a look in the box. Doing this one-handed is always so much fun. So we've got a bag of wires. Let's see. Let's run over to the 52. There we go. I think I can avoid most of the shadowing here. So in our bag of goodies, we've got all of our wires, a couple of different styles of boots. Here's our 90-degree bends we're looking for, and the proper connectors too, because I noticed a lot of the other wires on there now just had straight plugs on them, so the boots weren't allowing it to go in all the way, and I think that may also be part of our ignition problem. So going through replacing all the plugs, except for those two we couldn't get to on the driver's side. Let me show you. These two right here I'm going to need to actually get to once I can get under the vehicle. That's not going to happen on the dirt here right now. But as I was saying, once we go ahead and get the new wires made up with the proper boots on them, make sure we've got good connections all around, I think that's going to be a huge help for getting this thing running again. And of course, the new carburetor. So Mr. Edelbrock, you will be going away. Maybe we'll take him apart, see what's up with him, or maybe he'll just go down the road and become somebody else's problem. So let's go ahead and get those plug wires built and put them on. Alrighty folks, so we have gotten the new spark plug wires on, except for the coil. It's been a few days, plenty of other things going on, but we're gonna try and get that new Holley carb on top of our 440 in the Challenger today. So let's see what we've got. Alrighty, we've got our 1/2 inch. Let's see if this will be the trick. There we go. should hopefully just lift right off of here. There we go. All right, well, there is definitely some funky fuel in that thing. Go ahead and get our old gasket up here. That's gonna be not. Oh, hey, it's Permatex and gasket material. Great. Chances of crap getting in the engine? Yeah. Just gonna go ahead and shove a couple towels down here right now. That was already actually broken, so that's not gonna help us any. All right, now gotta go ahead and get this off, scrape it off, peel it off, see how much of a mess we've got. Not as bad as I thought, but still not as clean as a nice gasket without any goo on there. Wonder who did that. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and get this cleaned up. Nobody wants to see me do this. I'll come right back in just a second. All righty, well, we're back and I've got this all cleaned off. All of our schmutz and stuff is gone. I've run over it with some cleaner degreaser and taken the vacuum cleaner and sucked out everything that may have dripped down in here. So we've got a nice clean surface to put our new gasket on and then set our carburetor on. Oop, missed one little spot. There we go. There we go. Grab our gasket. Now we'll grab our Holley and set that in here. And just like I was halfway expecting, we're gonna have clearance issues with stuff. There's a reason I did not put this wire on from the coil to the cap. So we'll see where we can relocate him to, as it won't be right there. All right, try this again. Alrighty, take two with our Holley 750 CFM carb. That lined up. Get you on there. That sure looks pretty, that's for sure. Go ahead and set in a bolt here and start getting it where it needs to be. Of course, there's a little nubbin in my way. Alrighty, well, we got the carburetor on. You can see we do have some clearance issues I had to work around with the intake here. So I actually had to bend this line. I'm not too worried. It was pretty inexpensive. We'll probably put some nicer lines on there when this is all done and dressed up. We did displace our coil, so we have to find a new home for that. But for right now, this should work for us. We have some temporary fuel line here and a filter. We do have a new fuel system coming, tank and lines, but that's 1 to 4 week delivery time. So we'll have to find something to do in the meantime, maybe work on some of these body issues. So for right now, we're gonna let that cure up and hopefully come back with that coil relocated and wrap it up with that, and maybe we'll get to start it. We'll see. Alrighty folks, so we've got everything wired up here. We've got a excellently fabricated mount of zip ties for the coil for the time being until we figure out where it's gonna go. Again, if we redo the wiring harness in this thing, it's probably gonna get relocated anyways, maybe on the wall, or if we go total MSD setup or something, we'll be changing all that up completely. So last thing we've got to do is throw a little bit of fire water in the gas can down there. And I've got the lead for the electric choke just sitting here temporarily until I find a place in the harness to plug it in. Again, it's one of those things that's getting replaced, so I'll find the temporary spot now, and when we go through and do the harness, we'll put it where it should be. I'm not gonna go digging through all the wiring right now, just to undo it again. So let's go ahead and get our fender off, move our light, take some of our tarp off, and see if this thing will go ahead and fire up for us. Alrighty, well, here we go. Let's give it a whirl and see what happens. I've also got a brand new battery in this thing too, so hopefully that will also help. Alrighty, well, we're gonna leave it there. It wants to go. I gotta double check the timing on there. I know I set that back to 10 degrees before top dead center. Maybe I bumped that. I think part of it's just getting fuel into that new carburetor. I see fuel in the bowls now, so that is good. Difficult to see, but there is a little line right in there. So that's what we want to see. It's just not wanting to fire off for us. So maybe, you know, we're just the caveats of a new carb, a little bit of adjustment. It says it was adjusted pretty much as is, so it wouldn't have had to do a lot of fiddling with it once it's there. Alrighty, well, that's gonna do it for this one. It is gonna be a little bit of a cliffhanger, and we will come back on the next segment. Hopefully it is gonna start for us. I'm guessing we've got spark, we've got fuel, we've got air. Just probably missing something, the timing is off. It wants to go, it's just not kicking off for us. So we will go ahead and resolve that and come back in the next video, hopefully, and get it fired up for you. So until then, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends. We're over on Facebook, Instagram, Patreon. We've got some merchandise too over on Teespring. And thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.